All right, a little product review here this morning. Since we got a little bit extra time, we're waiting on the crews still to get here to do some more framing. So again, we're using the LSL studs. They come from Weyerhaeuser. The product actually is called Timber Strand. So those are the regular studs, but then we also have, if we'll walk over here, Braid. Really see it all that well, but there's also another LSL stud, but it's not Timber Strand only, it is actually strand guard. So it is actually a treated sill plate, but it's a Timber Strand LSL, and you can't really tell the difference other than that it says strand guard on it. So that way the whole house looks the same. You don't have like a green piece of wood and blonde or yellow wood, so it all looks the same, but it's hard to make sure that you use the right thing too. So we've got to make sure we keep the strand guard and the regular Timber Strand separated, so we're not using the strand guard on the top plates or somewhere they're not supposed to be used. And then so that's all of our framing, and then we got just some regular 2x material for our headers and stuff they're building over here. So all of our headers that are for our windows, because our windows are only a little bit over, I think it's a little bit over 3 feet wide. We're using 2x8 headers, and we're using 3 2x8s stacked together, and then we got a piece of 3/4 Avantech, which is the Avantech flooring. Typically use that 3/4 tongue and groove OSB for your flooring. That comes from Huber Engineered Woods, and they sandwich all that together to get the exact thickness and profile for those headers you see above the windows there. So that way, it's all nice and flat in the plane. And then we've got, we'll go on the outside of the studs. Again, is our zip system R sheathing. So zip system basically is also another product from Huber. Let's see if we can open this up here. Goodness, I don't have my knife on me, but this is our exterior OSB wall sheathing. And you see that it's got a green layer on it. So instead of just being an OSB sheathing, it also has what we call your WRB already attached to this sheathing. And WRB stands for weather resistant barrier. So it's got like a painted coating on it so that the water beads off of it and keeps it dry, because that's one thing you don't want to have, is you don't want your wood to get wet and stay wet. So that's what we're taking some extra steps to in our building process and assembly, that try to keep it as much as dry as possible. Anyway, so Huber's got the zip system. The sheathing will go up on the studs, and then in between the zip system panels, we'll actually, I'll show you here in a second, we have some we'll call zip tape, 4-inch black zip tape that will tape the seams. This also, again, is also a weather resistant barrier, but it also is an air sealant so that it keeps air out between the joints. And then actually on the back side of this OSB, we actually have a 1/2-inch foam gasket as well. And so you'll see that. Is that you?
Yeah, I'll cut that out. Can you say we'll see that?
So, and actually on the back side of this zip system sheathing, we actually have, which is different for most down here, I don't think most people use this here, but it's the 1/2-inch foam on the back side of the sheathing, and that's what gives you your immediate R value or insulation value. So we're just using the R3, which is 1 inch. You could also order it in a R9, which is 2 inch, which would be a 1/2-inch sheathing, and then 1.5 inch insulation. Or you can do R6, which is a 1/2-inch sheathing and 1 inch foam, and then even R12, which is really thick, 2.5 inches. So it's 2 inches of foam and just a 1/2 inch of sheathing. Those R9 and R12 R12s are really used more up north in really cold climates. I thought about using the R6 here, but with just cost and expense, it was just way overkill. R3 is kind of overkill already, but I think it'll be a really good finished product. Again, as soon as we put that sheathing up, we're already going to have an insulation value without even having to do any extra labor. And that's the cool thing too about this zip system, right? So typically you would put up OSB, and then you would put up a what we call a house wrap, this big white sheet, and it's a pain to put up. It pulls off in the wind, and it's just not adhered really well most of the time. And so this, by using this, it'll save you time and labor of having to have another crew come back in and wrap the house, fix it, fix all the seams and stuff. This is just one shot. You're still just putting up OSB. It saves you from having to go back and put house wrap on it again. More builders are using the zip system. It's really a great, new innovation idea that Huber's had. And then we also have the, so that's green over there, by the way. That green is for the sides of the house. And then we have the brown, which is gonna be for the roof of the house. And the reason why the color is different is because this is a roof structure panel, not a wall sheathing panel. In fact, you'll actually see it here. It says structural panel. So, and this is 5/8 instead of 1/2 inch, which is a little thicker than the 1/2 inch, of course. And right here it tells you this has got the water resistant air and air barrier protection on it. So, so yeah, just a little bit here. And oh, by the way, here's they lay it out so well for you too. Everything's just dotted lines where the tape is supposed to go, because it's supposed to have a 2-inch overhang on each side of the seam. And it says roll the tape. That's one thing that they make sure of, is when we go to put the tape on, and I'll show you the tape here in a second. It's a pressure sensitive tape, so you got to make sure you roll it in order for it to really stick. If you don't roll it, it could peel off, and you don't want it to peel off, because then it ruins your air and water resistive layer. So of course, and it voids the warranty too. So when we get to this step of putting this on, we know we're pretty close to final framing. We got the foundation, and then I had put a couple layers or beads of what we call Contiga HF air sealant underneath the foam seal sealer. And then before they put the walls up, I'll put another couple beads on the bottom of the seal plate to make sure we get good airtight seal. And luckily the rain didn't wash away all of our sealant underneath there. So, but we got our LSL studs laid out for the second wall here, and this will be the big front door opening here. So that's why there's not any studs in this area. Just got to finish putting together. But yeah, so you can check out the wall. We got one wall here, 2x6, 10 foot high. So yeah, this is the front main master bedroom wall. Got 2 windows here. We'll come back in and put the seal and the cripples in to finish framing out the window, because the window doesn't go all the way down to the floor, of course. So this is your zip system tape, and this is your 4-inch flashing tape here, and this is what seals and will go on most all the seams. We also have some boxes of 6-inch stretch tape, as well as also their what they call liquid flash. So all of these are designed, again, to be a sealant to keep the weather out, keep the water out, help keep the air out. And the liquid flash is like virtually the same type of product, just in a liquid form. So you can caulk it on, spread it out with a trowel, and you can make your own seam and seal. We'll do that around all the windows as the sealant to wrap from the outside sheathing into the windows. and you'll see that we'll have some black trim edge moldings and stuff that it'll look like once we do the liquid flash on all the windows. And yeah, so that's the zip system. So you got your sheathing, your tape, roll the tape, and then you know, you should be good. So that's really the main products we're using right now. We do have under the big to show you this is kind of funny. Most people don't have a Santa Claus tarp for their building projects, but I saw this on Facebook. You buy an old vinyl billboard, and so this says Morgan & Morgan. I think it's some injury lawyer or whatever. They put up a billboard, I think around Christmas time or something, but well, we got Santa Claus right here as our protector of our wood. And what's underneath here is we've got, and Braden, by the way, I've got some photos I had sent you of all this, but this is all of our second floor trusses. So we'll build the first floor walls, and then in basically the kind of the center of the house, we'll have a second floor, or somewhat of a second floor, and those floor trusses will go in between the first floor walls and the second floor walls. So and if you want to take a look here real quick too, you'll notice that this big cubby hole here we've got cut out or engineered out is for all of our HVAC. So we actually had a mechanical plan done that shows where all the HVAC and all the ductwork and stuff for the heating and air runs. And so that gives the heating and air person a perfect spot. There's no cutting, there's no issues. It was all overlaid on the design, so it should all go together like it was planned out. And so that cavity there, and then there's another one up front. But all these are engineered and made to be strong and stable. And yeah, it already has plenty of room for electrical, plumbing, also to go through. There's plenty of space there. So you got to think ahead and make sure all the things you're doing from a framing standpoint will help the next person in line, because if not, then they could tear up your framing and make life harder for you to go back and fix and adjust. So I'm trying to do as much forethought planning as possible. But yeah, so you know, we got a bunch of Weyerhaeuser truss joists, timber strand guard, Huber Avantech, and zip system sheathing out here. That's the majority of what we got. But you know, hopefully in about 4 weeks we'll have it all up and done. All depends on this weather, you know, how well we can get all this done before it, you know, pours on us each time. So yeah, we're excited and look forward to seeing it all come to fruition. And yeah, if you got any questions, by the way, too, you know, make comments or whatever. We'll try to respond to them and see if we can't help you figure out how to best address your next project too. Oh, and one other shout out too. You see I got a Southern Lumber shirt on, right? So Southern Lumber's our main supplier. Robin Hall over at Southern Lumber has helped us out a lot, been very patient with us through this whole process. You know, it's taken us a lot longer than we initially thought. And I'm not a builder, you know, every day doing this. So, you know, he's been very gracious and patient with me. And, you know, it's just a one project type thing for us. So, you know, they could have said, no, we're not gonna help you because you're not, you know, constantly doing it. And, you know, but they've been very helpful and supportive. Been storing our windows that will be put in after we get done framing for us. And, you know, it's been really helpful. Again, I'm doing this as kind of an educational scrapbook type thing for us, so that, you know, maybe it just helps other people know what to ask for. Do this in your next custom home build. Maybe even convince some of these tract home builders to add a few of these type of things to their homes, because I think if you use really good products, which these are, I believe, you know, it makes the house just be better overall and last a lot longer. And you know, you want a house that's gonna, you know, survive more than 50 years before you gotta feel like you gotta tear it down and rebuild it. So anyway, we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time.